It's a story that has had reverberations across the world, some of the most wealthy and powerful people being dragged up into it. It's also had huge implications here in Westminster as well. And the chairman of the Conservative Party, I'm pleased to say, joins us now. That is Kevin Hollinrake. Good to have you with us.
Right.
So you're tabling what you're calling a humble address in Parliament today on Peter Mandelson. What are you trying to do?
Get the Prime Minister to reveal everything he knew about Peter Mandelson before he appointed him to one of the top jobs in politics, ambassador to the US. And let's not forget, Peter Mandelson had a very chequered record in politics before he was appointed to this role. He'd resigned twice from the cabinet, once because of a financial scandal, and indeed it was clear he knew Jeffrey Epstein and had a relationship with him after he was a convicted paedophile. And yet still, Keir Starmer, despite lots of people expressing reservations about that, appointed him to that top job. We want to know, this is a rarely used procedure, want to know all the documents, see all the documentation, knew exactly what advice Keir Starmer was given before he made that decision. Clearly, it's a very bad decision about somebody appointing somebody to that role who was clearly a wrong 'un.
The government is saying that they are going to release the information, right? Some of it, they say, is simply not going to be released on national security grounds. I mean, do you accept that? Like, there is going to be sensitive information from other allies around the world that could be in these documents. Do you accept that some of it may have to be redacted?
Well, let's be clear, they're only releasing the information because we forced them to do that. So clearly, Keir Starmer could have marched his troops up the hill and gone to vote against releasing the information, his own MPs, and they were going to do that. So he's had to back down and said he will release the information. Now, he's put that caveat on it about national security, which we understand, as long as that's not a smokescreen to conceal information that should be released, information that may embarrass Keir Starmer himself. That cannot be a reason.
You'll basically judge it when you see what's been released and you think, actually, you know, fair enough, some of this has had to be redacted, but they have been transparent and in good faith.
Yes, if it's redacted, in terms of you can see, it's pretty clear what reason you would need to redact something. But if it's stopping release of documents, you don't know what they're not releasing. So, you know, I'm sure the officials within the Cabinet Office who will be responsible for this are decent people, and I'm sure they'll do the right thing. But it's very, very important that the public has confidence that all the information is now being revealed.
Can we take all the politics out of this for a minute, right? Because it feels to me like it's a bit of a wake-up call for all of us who work in Westminster. And you look at the kind of the elites, the powerful people who are part of this network, you can understand why people feel like they just want to wash the hands of the lot of them, right?
I can understand that. I think it's bad for the whole world of politics. Everything, you know, but some people think, well, they're all the same. And that's a very bad thing. And, you know, I think sometimes we're our own worst enemy. We describe each other as incompetent, self-serving, those kind of things. And sometimes the media says that about us. But the vast majority of people go into politics for the right reasons, to fix things, to make the country a better place, to make the world a better place. Now, but the nature of these allegations, we are not playing politics here. The nature of these allegations is that during a time, 2008, 2009, Peter Mandelson was doing favours for a convicted paedophile on the basis that he could have financially profited from that. Both Epstein and clearly potentially a connection, there's money changing hands between Epstein and Mandelson. This at a time, I was in business at that time, we thought our business was going to go bust. Millions of other businesses would have felt the same. 3.7 million people lost their jobs. This isn't just politics, this is real people's lives. And Peter Mandelson was basically taking advantage of that situation.
The allegation is, and the police.
The allegations are pretty compelling, and you know I don't think anybody denied those allegations. A police investigation, of course, people who are innocent to proven guilty, of course, but it seems quite clear here those allegations may lead to a prosecution for misconduct in public office, which is a very, very serious offence.
You talked a bit earlier about how we all need to take care in the language we use when people have such, I guess, distrust of politicians. And now you put out a video saying reform usually have a lot to say, but on Epstein, they're silent. And you show a clip showing Nigel Farage praising Peter Mandelson for being a master of his brief. What is the implication there?
Well, just make sure that nobody has anything to hide in terms of relationship with Epstein. It seems to me that normally you see reform piling into these things unless it doesn't seem to be doing that. So we're not making any specific allegations about that, of course.
Because Nigel Farage, he was named in the files, but kind of in a kind of very roundabout kind of way. And the reason I'm saying this is because, it does matter, doesn't it? There's a fake photo circulating online of Nigel Farage with Jeffrey Epstein, and this kind of nudge, nudge, wink, wink is. What are you saying? It's not helpful, isn't it?
Well, that's not a fake photo we put out, of course. That's
no, I'm not saying that's a fake photo. That's right.
But, people should be clear about their connections with Jeffrey Epstein. That's what's gone wrong here with Peter Mandelson, and as I say, that's what's wrong here with the judgment of the Prime Minister. So we want to make sure all the connections with Jeffrey Epstein are revealed, and if there are any situations or there's any evidence of wrongdoing, then that should be made available to the public and to Parliament, which is what today's all about.